Aside from my soul. Yeah, what's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to my live stream. I am the actual King Smith, and this is my Wednesday vlog where I come on to talk about whatever the funk I want to talk about. I need to check to make sure that my audio is going through because I changed the setting right before I went live. They tell you not to do that. Let me see. We got audio. What's up? Yeah, audio's good, baby. Audio is good. What is happening, y'all? Man, we're almost through December. We're basically halfway there. Today's December the 11th. My pops had a birthday about a week and a half ago. Shout out to him. Happy birthday. My lady's mom has a milestone birthday mañana. That's tomorrow for those of y'all that don't speak or understand Spanish. And yeah, life's good. I got a couple of things that I'm going to talk about on my live stream today. One thing stemmed from a conversation that I had with somebody about navigating life, learning from failure, and also having support. And I want to try to ask y'all, how do you find that balance? I'm asking it as a parent of a senior that's about to be going into the world, so to speak. And I'm trying to find that right balance of giving her the support and guidance as she transitions from being a young woman to a grown adult, and navigating how to ensure that she has the support that she needs, because I think that sometimes people are quick to say fly young flock go fly, yet we also talk about how important it is to have a mentor, right? So I'm trying to figure out what's that balance between being there for somebody and letting them learn from their own failures. So that's the first thing for tonight. The second thing that I want to highlight is going to be speaking around cryptocurrency. Y'all know I invest in cryptocurrency. I've been talking about cryptocurrency for a while now, and it's my opinion that if you're behind on what the news is and you don't have an understanding yourself, then you're missing out. You're missing out. This is, to me, this is how I'm going to equate cryptocurrency. Let's say you don't even understand anything about the technology, right? Let's say you don't care what a blockchain is. I don't even know how to spell cryptocurrency. I say, okay, fine. But I want you to see where the money's going. Where is the money going? What is the big money buying? And can you invest in that? Can you get into a part of that? And that's how I'm thinking about it. Now, there's all different kind of avenues. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not trying to tell y'all what to do. I'm showcasing what I'm doing and then asking the question, is this something that you might need to consider? So that's how I'm treating that. Because by now you've likely heard about what, Bitcoin is and how to even get it, as it's a lot easier to acquire than it was a decade ago. But a decade ago, you were finding Bitcoin somewhere likely under a couple of $100 per Bitcoin. Matter of fact, let's take a look now while I'm giving my introduction, giving people time to join in. If you looked at Bitcoin 10 years ago, and I'm bringing up CoinGecko.com, Bitcoin in 2014, let's look at December. So I'm just picking a point in December. December 12th of 2014, Bitcoin was $347.48 per Bitcoin at 7 o'clock Eastern that day. And the volume that Bitcoin was being traded was around 38 million in volume. Now Bitcoin sits somewhere around the billions, right? Over a 24-hour period. Yeah, it's like I'm sitting here looking at 101 billion in volume, and Bitcoin is sitting over 100,000 per Bitcoin. So if you had $1,000 and you bought just over 3 Bitcoin a decade ago, that $1,000 is now worth over 300 and some, close to 400 and some odd billion, not billion, 300 some thousand. Oh man, I just saw a comment on one of my other platforms here. But I want to be early in what XRP is doing. So that's the crypto that I'm going to highlight today, as they just had regulatory approval at in the New York financial sector for what's called Ripple Labs USD. That is a stable coin. I think it's going to be pegged to $1. That's going to be backed by reserves in other areas. And why this is a big deal. It's a huge deal, actually. And to me, not enough people are talking about it. So I'm going to try to explain it the best way that I can and share why I'm looking into XRP and while I will continue to look into XRP. And then finally, what I'm going to ask today or bring up is talking about the mindset. I saw this photo and I'm trying to see if I sent the photo to myself. I hope I did. But I saw this photo that was interesting. I didn't send it to myself. So I'm going to see if I can do two things at one time. I saw this photo that was interesting. And in this photo, it talked about 3 reasons why you're poor. And all of the reasons were around your mindset and how you tackle things and how you handle things. But I want to display what was said. Hey, here it is. All right. I want to display what was said. And I want to get y'all's opinion on the 3 things that will keep you poor 101. And I want to talk about it. These are things that I wish people were having conversations with me about on the regular when I was younger. I had a lot of people say, do as I say, not as I do. And while I was getting nuggets with people that were saying certain things, I was also looking at them like, yeah, but you don't have that, or you're not doing this. Like, why are you not doing it? It's not too late. It's not too late. So why are you not doing it? I get that you had some knowledge to share, but I also need to see the receipts as well on some things. But this photo that I have today, I thought it was really interesting, so I wanted to tackle it and talk about it. So before we get into the first thing, let me come over here and see if I have anybody in the building. If there's a like button on your platform, do me a favor, hit the like button. It's just as easy as that. Shout out to Tarika, same last name as me, said, I'm here. What up, young lady? I appreciate you tuning in and thanks for your support. I appreciate that, and I give you a salute. All right, first topic here is navigating the delicate balance between support and learning from failure in our adult lives. And I wrote it this way earlier, but I'm going to make a bit of a pivot on this because I want to ask y'all, those of y'all maybe that are parents or mentors to people, is how do you balance that support between showing support to somebody that's coming up in the game versus allowing them to fail and learn from failure? And the reason why I'm asking is simple. Like I said earlier, I'm a father. My daughter's about to be out into the world, and I'm just looking to see how other people are doing it. There's no handbook for this stuff. So I'm asking y'all, how do y'all do it? What would you do? Okay. So let's define failure first, right? And what exactly constitutes failure? In my opinion, and I like to be simple about things, failure is simply the absence of success, right? So you have something that you give a definition of success. And in project management, you talk about, what's the end goal or what's the definition of finished, right? How do you know that this product is a finished product so that you can put it out to the market? But failure, in its simple terms, is the absence of success. Now, it could be encompassed with setbacks, mistakes, right? Missed opportunities, things that in hindsight you'll look at with clear vision and go, I probably should have done this way. And that's one of the best ways that you can learn is by failing. My daughter's about to go off to college. I asked her a little bit before I went live. I said, hey, what are your deadlines and what do you have to get turned in, right? Because I am here to assist. There's a cost associated with applying, well, not applying for college, but registering for college. My daughter can't afford that. She's not a Disney kid that has her own money. So it is up to her parents and people that love and support her, if y'all want to throw a brother some change, wink, wink, to help, get her those fees and things and whatnot. And she's in a privileged position to have loving people in her life that she can rely on. There are some young men and women out there, young people in today's age, you got to be careful about this kind of stuff. But there's some young people out there that don't have support. They're geniuses or smart, but they may have been born into poverty situations with no real financial support. And look, money makes the world go round. It's plain and simple like that, right? So when you're looking at defining failure and what failure is, it's any instance in which our actions don't lead to the intended outcomes. My daughter is looking at enrolling. She has deadlines that she have to meet for certain things. There's money that's involved in just simply getting registered to attend college. And while I want to step back, right, allow her to take charge in her own future, she's also simply 17. And I have to stop thinking, well, she's only 17, because when I was her age, I was just about ready to get shipped off and raise my right hand and say that I would support and defend the Constitution of the US. So I have to make that flip internally of going, that's my kid, because she's always going to be my kid, right? But also, she's an adult that's about to come into the world. She's going to know what failure is. I think failure is one of the best teachers. But I'm still trying to navigate how much am I there for support, right? To help God, and how much do I pull back? And I feel like I don't have that right mix just yet. So acknowledging what failure is and understanding that it's not always a catastrophic event is important as well. Because the goal is to achieve your goals, achieve success. Now, if you're somebody like me, I always say it's important to be able to do on your own, yet I've learned through my own failure that having a good support system can be critical to help you spring back from a major setback. There are several people who I can identify in my life by name right now that over the last 5 years have been a really good support system for me. They know who they are. I make sure to tell them, right? Because if you're out here living life and doing something, you're eventually going to stumble. So having that strong support system can be invaluable. That could be in the form of friends, family members, mentors, or And I'm going to give y'all a fourth option that not too many people think about: a professional coach. I used to think that people who were life coaches were scam artists or a management coach. But what people fail to realize, legendary people had coaches that were professional coaches that, help them see things from a different perspective. CEOs have professional coaches that allow them to um, take a different approach or a different angle at something, that they're not vested in the company's success. They're more invested in that person because they're paying them to do well, essentially. But many people don't want to spend the time or the money to invest in themselves to have a professional coach, because look, it costs money. But a good professional coach can be critical to help get to that next level and set you above the rest of the field, the rest of the competition, the rest of the people that are in the same market as you, that's trying to get what you got or get to where you're going. I don't have a professional coach. I've got several mentors though. But that might be something that I look at in 2025. If not a professional coach, I do know a network of other content creators and people that live stream, that do this thing called a money mindset, where there's different professionals in different areas that showcase or talk about specific subjects. So if I'm trying to succeed as a content creator or doing live streams, but it's $50 a month to tap into this network, I spent $50 just walking out the house today, grabbing some stuff that I probably didn't need. So what's stopping me from taking that $50 a month to invest in myself and join that money mindset group to take my content creation up to the next level, which is what I plan on doing in 2025. All right. Now, it's important to find that balance between seeking or giving support to somebody and fostering independence. And that's what I'm trying to do with my daughter, right? Because as a parent, I'm trying to find that right balance between preparing my daughter Castle and protecting her at the same time. I'm 40. I know what the world throws out at you once you're out there, right? She's there now, essentially. And she's going to need to learn to navigate those challenges on her own, yet still know that she can reach out to the people that love her and the folks that show support. And she's lucky. I think I need to make sure that I have this specific conversation with her, because I don't know if actually, I have. About a couple of weeks ago, I sat down and had a dinner with Michelle and Cassie, and it was about Castle and just letting her know, look, you've got loved ones who are here for you. Use us. Tap into our time on this earth, learning and making mistakes. I think she's, set up a little bit better than most, but still, as her parent that's vested in seeing her succeed, I struggle with trying to help find that correct balance, right? What works best for her. So I'm trying to help her develop resilience and self-reliance. Spell resilience. I just heard the screen door. You know what? It is what it is. I'll continue and hope that the screen door don't break. All right. So uh the last part, specifically talking about learning from your mistakes and failures and things, are just barriers to learning. Which, look, if you have a smartphone, there's really not much of a barrier to learn that is in your way to keep you from succeeding, because people are a phone call away. data or learning is a YouTube video or a Google search away. It's in my opinion that in 2024 and 2025, if you don't have the knowledge about something, it's because you're lazy. It's your own mindset. You're lazy. Absent of not being able to get to the internet or talk to somebody, the only reason why there's a barrier to your own learning and your own success is you're lazy. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. There are people that if you want to do something, if you want to learn something, it might require you to put yourself out there, but there are people that will literally give you money because they have lots of it, because they want to see somebody succeed and do well with whatever that subject is. Let's say you're a person that is interested in geology and you could get yourself only so far, but to go to that next level, there's a camp or some type of learning tour somewhere, but you don't have the ends for it. Closed mouths don't get fed. And by ends, I mean money. I know some people don't quite understand the vernacular of the English language sometimes, but so let me talk a little bit different. If you don't have the money for it, closed mouths don't get fed. So why not put yourself out there saying, hey, I've got this event. This is what I'm looking to gain from it as an outcome. I'm struggling to make ends meet and don't have the ability to do it myself. If anybody would be willing to donate and support, I'd appreciate it. It's that simple. But some people's own pride just don't let them get in the way. And that point actually right there is something that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later on. So for those of y'all that will tap into this on the live stream later, I've got a question. If you can, put it down in the comment section. Share an example of a time when you learned a valuable lesson from failure. All right. That's a question that I'd like to get people to respond to. I even got it in the chat for the live stream, and I'm going to put it up on the screen right here. There are lessons that can be learned. I'll share mine, and then we're going to see if there's any comments, and then go to the next topic. So I posted the question, can you share an example of a time when you learned a valuable lesson from a failure? I'm going to keep this easy and I'm going to keep this simple. When I was active duty in the military, I had a commander, and I'm going to call him out by name. Lieutenant Colonel, or was he a colonel? I forget ranks. Scott Thatcher. Scott Thatcher asked me to do, and actually he didn't ask, he was a commander. So he gave me a command. A commander is essentially the CEO of a company. And he asked me to do one thing. I said asked again. He commanded me to do one thing and have it done by a certain time. I said, sir, yes, sir. Did not get it done. And I didn't have any excuses either. He tore me a new one in front of everybody, right? Now, what I did not know was that he was setting other things up in preparation for people that were evaluating him, essentially, to come in and take a look and evaluate his commandship, essentially. I didn't know that at the time, right? And I still should have had it done, but I had no excuses for that. And what that taught me was that essentially, especially if you want somebody's trust, it taught me that if there's something that you said that you were going to do for somebody, do it. Because later on, that same commander was valuable in my transition from when I got out of the military. Because I was known for being able to take care of business, essentially. But that one time when I say he snapped. And I just had to sit there at attention and take it. But when I was getting medically retired from the Air Force, he was instrumental in helping me land my first job, which was a government job, working on the base right after my transition. And I'm thankful for that. I've told him that. I think if not, and he watches this live stream, he's hearing it now. But that right there, in hindsight, while it's a small subject, that springboarded me into where I'm at now and what I'm doing, because it got me into the government at a certain pay grade. And then when I transitioned to a different job, I had to take a bit of a pay cut, but my pay cut was not as large of a pay cut as it could have been because I was already in the government as a higher grade. So when I got dropped some grades to take this other job, essentially, instead of losing what would have been, like 15 to 20 grand annually, I only lost like 7. But earning the trust of the people that are decision makers is important and it's vital. So, lesson learned, do what your commander tells you to do, essentially. But it's not just for the moment. Later on, when something comes up, if you're known for taking care of business, now you're somebody that could be set up to be first, to be given an opportunity because you've already demonstrated that you can follow orders. Plain and simple. Like some people talk about, this person's a part of the good old boys club and yada yada. And that stuff does exist. Don't get me wrong. It does exist. But I wasn't a part of any club, a good old boys club or nothing. I did my job and I didn't suck at it. Shout out to Mr. Atkins in the building. He said, I watched a Bob Proctor video with my oldest this evening. He won't get it yet, but he will later on. Ding, ding, ding. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Then he said, lazy or just paradigms that folks are falling into knowingly or unknowingly. I want to save that. Because I can't talk on that right now. But you were responding to a point that I said earlier. But reading that gave me a thought about something that doesn't necessarily flow with what I got going on today. But I am going to, how can I copy and paste this? Do this. I'll figure it out later. I'm going to come back to that. That's actually a topic for a different live stream that I have. All right. And then Mr. Atkins also said, the failure is the lesson. If you learn from it, I've had a couple of times where I've had to bump my head a few times. This big old noggin before I learned and stopped doing the thing that I didn't need to do. Man, I might have to pause the live stream to go down and close the front door. Anyway, the failure is indeed the lesson. That's true, but only if you learn from it. Because yes, just that simple. The failure is the lesson. It's important for you to do the self-reflection, learn from it, and mitigate it or not do it again. If you're still somebody that's going to boom, 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 just keep hitting your head, I feel for you. Actually, no, I don't. I don't feel for you. If you keep making the same mistakes, then I don't know. In my opinion, you deserve it. I think we need to go in 2025 is to leave failures behind. Leave people that continue to fail behind. If you want to keep having a fixed mindset, to me, there's nothing wrong with a fixed mindset. There's when you talk about the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset, oh man, what was that lady's name? She was a doctor, a psychologist or something. Carol somebody. She had this concept, and she was one of the first people that talked about the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset in her book, The New Psychology of Success, I believe, or The New Psychology of Failure. It's one of those. I'm trying to bring this stuff off the top of my dome here. A growth mindset person will take failure, learn from it, and capitalize, right? Find those opportunities and improve and go forward. Boom. A fixed mindset type person, right? How do they take a look at failure? Hmm. I'm thinking about some stuff. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna come back to that. Shout out to Greek Pete. Greek Pete's in the building. Said, "Hey, brother, yo, what's up, man? I appreciate you tuning in." He said, "It's still a lesson, regardless." Yeah, that's true. Shout out to Tony on YouTube. This is a new name. Hey, I appreciate you popping in. Tanzania Tony said, "How is the U.S. currently? I hear the economy is super bad." First of all, Tanzania Tony, it's been a minute actually. I think you have been in my live stream once or so in the past. How's the U.S. currently? It depends on who you ask. The way I look at it is I've set myself up to be able to not feel the impacts of the economy here. Yes, it's bad, but the way I look at it is it could be worse. And if you're somebody that, right, so take for example, I do these live streams. I don't really make money from these live streams. I like doing this because I like having conversations and sharing knowledge. I could be out Ubering right now. I could be doing my regular 9 to 5, which I work as an IT project manager around policy and planning, which I mentioned that because it's going to come up a little bit later. I could do my normal job, get off, and go work a second job, right? And I'm exchanging time for money. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build on some concepts, work on public speaking and some things, and take this, which is a hobby, and also maybe hopefully have it be a decent second source of income somewhere down the future. Actually, one additional source of income because I've got a couple of different revenue streams that I'm working right now. And I'm also in a better position than most, but that was only because of how things are lately. So if you ask me, I'm doing good in a not so good economy because I've prepped for it. But if you didn't prep for it or if you didn't plan for it, things might be rough for you. I forget exactly. I don't know if you're in Tanzania or that's just where your channel is now. If I had the ability to, which I do, but not the way I'd want to yet, I wouldn't be living here. Right now I'm here because my daughter's here. But in 5 years from now, man, uh who knows? Who knows? I've been scouting some other places trying to figure out how citizenship works, what's required to be able to get on like a longer visa to maybe stay outside of the US. That's the way that my brain's thinking. I believe Tanzania Tony that you're from the US but you don't stay here anymore, right? Let me see if you comment about that a little bit later on. Sparta HQ said, I have a scene on my channel. We all fall down, but as we're going down the mountain, we see our failures and we're going to lay on our feet. So when we get back up, we could get up and go back up the mountain. Absolutely. Absolutely. We don't make the same mistakes. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Mr. Atkins said, read Neville Goddard and listen to Bob Proctor. You won't be disappointed. So I'm going to come in here right now. Anytime somebody makes a good book recommendation, I buy it. There's this one guy, John Simonez. John Simonez, he's a content creator, but he also does other things. And he runs this channel called Bulldog Mindset. And he's an avid book reader, right? I've got a couple of books here. Winning the War in Your Mind. I've talked about this one. Let me see if I get this to show up good. This is one that I'm about to get into here over the next couple of weeks. I just finished one, Protect Your Peace. I don't know where that's at. But anytime John makes a book recommendation, I read it. Michael Sartain. Michael Sartain was a navigator in the Air Force. By my measure of success, that brother's doing fantastic out there in Vegas. And he recommends books and stuff all the time. So I'm gonna look this up. Neville Goddard. All right. What book specifically? Because I'm looking at a couple of things. The Neville Goddard Deluxe Collection, all 14 books by a new thought pioneer. Is it that one? I'll order it right now. Because I'm about to go on a trip where I can read that joint on the airplane. If you have an Amazon affiliate link, DM it to me. I'll do it that way. Because I don't mind helping out people. I have an Amazon affiliate link as well. So if you have an Amazon affiliate link, Lee, send it to me. I'll buy it using your link. If not, you got 24 hours. I'll buy the book myself. All right. Those are the comments. We're going to go to the next topic here and talk about cryptocurrency. And I'm going to wait to see, try and catch, because I know there's a bit of a delay if Tanzania is going to respond back to my question and Lee respond back to mine as well. So Ripple Labs, all right, the Ripple Labs stablecoin got approval in New York. Let's talk about its implications for the future of finance, all right? So here's a little bit of background. Ripple Labs is a technology company that provides cross-border payment solutions for financial institutions, right? The big boys, not small peanuts like me, the big boys. Their RippleNet network uses blockchain technology that enables faster, cheaper, and more efficient international transactions. Stablecoins, right, on the other hand, are cryptocurrencies designed to minimize price volatility by being pegged to a stable asset such as the US dollar. So, the two big boys in the stablecoin market right now, one is by Circle called USDC, which is, I want to say it's US dollar crypto or US dollar coin, somewhere around there, and that's pegged to $1. And the other one is Tether, USD Tether, which I forget who is the prominent market creator for Tether, right? But those are the big cryptocurrency stablecoins. And just to kind of show an example by market cap here, I'm going to display my screen so you can see how much of a market cap Tether has captured and USDC has captured. So USDT, or Tether, has $138 billion market cap. And if you see these fluctuations here, right, it's pegged to the dollar, but sometimes it'll be below $1. Sometimes it's above $1. And Tether is supposedly backed by a reserve to the US dollar. And they have a transparency page that shows what their reserves are at all times. Okay. There was a third one that used to be in the market that was an algorithmic stablecoin. And I forgot what the name of it is because that crashed hard. And it was when one of the big players then at the time, Luna had their stable coin that was supposed to be a computer based algorithmic stable coin that when one thing went wrong, it was a cascading effect, and it had a huge effect on the cryptocurrency market, as Terra Luna's crypto called Luna went from being like $130 some per to basically zero, actually under a cent, just like that. And it hasn't gone away, which is why to me it's kind of a lottery ticket. I think that given time and the right team in place, it could come back. So I've got a little bit of the Terra Luna Classic, not a lot, but a little bit of it in case it decides to do something. But Tether and USDC here, which is by Circle. These are the three, the two main ones that are in the cryptocurrency space that are, and I'm doing air quotes, regulated. And it's one of the reasons why Ripple's USD, called RLUSD, is looking to be that third big boy in the market that comes in, that came in through the regulatory way, the right way, even after some setbacks. But if you're into XRP, then it's my take that given time, you're going to have something that could be the equivalent of having bought Bitcoin when Bitcoin first came out. So let's talk about why. All right. So Ripple's stablecoin RLUSD is designed to be backed 1-to-1 to the US dollar, ensuring its stability and reliability. And this backing consists of a couple of different pockets, if you will. The US dollar deposits, short-term US government treasuries, and other cash equivalents, similar to the way that Tether has their stable coin pegged, right? The New York Department of Financial Services, NYDFS, is known for having strict regulatory environment for cryptocurrencies, and Ripple being one of the ones that attained approval is a significant milestone in allowing RRUSD to jump into the market that's 80% capitalized by USDC and Tether, right? So if they could cut into that slice, then watch out, okay? Now, just like anything, when something comes into the market, there's going to be a little bit of a disruption, which isn't a bad thing. But think about backing the right horse, especially if you can back it early. I think this is the equivalent of picking the winning horse over and over again if you take the opportunity to invest now. You can get XRP on Coinbase. I'm not talking about the US stablecoin. I'm talking specifically about why RLUSD is going to be good for XRP. And XRP is one of the ones that if you follow my Facebook page, The Actual King Smith, and my YouTube channel, The Actual King Smith, I showcase two that I'm buying on the regular. One's a meme coin, Shiba, and the other one is XRP. And I believe I have my wallet up. Can I show this? Can I show this? No, because this has my banking information too. Shit. I was wanting to showcase. Let me see if I can maybe do this without showing my banking information. I think I could do this way. Okay. Nope, I can't. Abort. So I was actually going to show myself buying some additional XRP live, but I can't do that without exposing some critical information that shouldn't be exposed, like my banking account. It's not the full banking account, but I don't want to give hackers the opportunity or the chance. I don't want to F around and find out. So I'm going to be purchasing some additional XRP outside of the live stream and then showing how much I have, right? This wallet is not a lot, but I started this with 0. And I've just been buying $20 here, $50 there. So when it blows up, I'm not gonna say I didn't. Y'all can't come to me and say, King, why didn't you say nothing? Because I'm just gonna be like, did you watch my live streams? All right. Back to how RLUSD is going to help out. So again, people that work in the financial sector have a better understanding of the cost that it takes to Send money from Alabama or Maryland to China. It's not cheap to do, even if you consider, well, money seems to be X's and O's now versus how it was 30 years ago. There's still a cost associated with it. Blockchain technology aims to make it faster and more reliable than the way that our current cross-border payment system is set up. And I wish I was a little bit more prepped so I could tell you like what the actual term is. But if you work at a bank or if you work around finances and you understand like certain ledgers and things like that, you know exactly what I'm talking about and you can explain it a little bit better. What certain cryptocurrencies are trying to do is make that process cheaper, right? Our world is a global world. You can get your passport, which I got my passport somewhere. You can get your passport, book a plane trip or a plane ticket, and fly to a different country that uses a different a different currency. But imagine, right? If certain cryptocurrencies can figure out without jacking up the world's global currency to be able to buy a coat with money that you earned in one place into another place and not be a total disruptor from the different economies and things, man, that you're in. And that's how I see the world going 20 years from now. Cryptocurrency is not going anywhere. It's not. All right. So with New York giving the approval for RLUSD, I think what that's going to do for Ripple here. And there was a quote that I wanted to find. It says, when URSD is live, you'll hear about it from Ripple first. And this is Ripple's CEO, Brad Garlinghouse. The New York approval ensures that RLUSD complies with stringent regulatory standards that will enable Ripple to operate within New York's robust financial ecosystem. And there's certain places that when you get into the market, it's not just the state of New York, it is going to be the entire US. All right. And there's one other part that I wanted to bring up here with this one. So XRP as of right now is at $2.36 per XRP. About a month ago, it was under 75 cents, right? So you can see how much that's jumped. And I think that it won't just be under $5 for that long. Okay. So when I say I'm taking every dollar and every chance that I get to get me some XRP, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm building the bag. Anytime it dips, I buy. Right now, it's under $5 per XRP. Buy. If I'm looking at a target price and saying I can see an avenue that XRP is going to get to where it's $9 per XRP, why would I not buy at any price point under $9? That's just how I'm looking at it. And if you want to get political, let's get political for like 2 minutes. When our incoming president was the prior president than our current president, he wasn't very crypto friendly. There was a lot of anti-crypto rhetoric that came out of his mouth directly. Well, my, oh my, oh my, how the tides have turned in the 4 years or so since 47 was 45, the amount of changes that have occurred and where the money is going around cryptocurrency, I think that any president would have been an idiot to still be anti-crypto, or any person that's running for office would be anti-crypto unless cryptocurrency was a direct challenger to what you had going on. And if that was the case, it would be really obvious, in my opinion, if you had certain senators or congressmen or women that were against it, right? Because it would probably be in a direct conflict with their money and what they're doing. But there are a lot of pro crypto Senate and Congress people that are paving the way for the success of cryptocurrency. And I'm banking on being on the right side of who the big players are. And I think that Ripple Labs is going to be one of those that getting into XRP now is basically having your golden egg set up for you in the future. Okay. Shout out to God Happened to Me said, good evening. What up, Boo Thang? Glad you are able to tune in. I always appreciate your support. So, I'm going to leave this topic and proceed to my final topic with this question. What are your thoughts on what Ripple Labs is doing? And do you have any XRP? Simple question. If you don't know how to get XRP, let me know. Shoot me an email. Reach out to me, and I'll help you get it. I will help you obtain some. You say, well, King, I don't necessarily know how to do it. I have, this is where I'm going to market myself a bit. I have a referral code. If you don't have Coinbase or crypto.com, that use my referral code and join, and I'll help you. I will help you get it. All right. Last topic here. And this is the one that I have a picture that I'm going to present as well. So let me display this up on the screen here. And it's unlocking the potential of your mindset and understanding how it can either propel you forward or hold you back. I titled today's live stream Mindset Matters. I think too many people don't necessarily talk about mindset. There's a lot of things where people will offer you some advice on if then statements, right? If you do this, then that is likely to happen. If you do this, then this is what's likely to occur. I think as we're raising youth, it shouldn't just be about learning stuff in the classroom for exams. That parents or people in the homes, your community, should also insist on helping you frame what your mindset is. Think about this. I was just in Baltimore not too long ago. And if you go down certain neighborhoods, right? Certain neighborhoods, trash on the road, extremely poor, drug users everywhere, right? I remember one time walking. It's a good thing that I looked down because I saw a needle that I could have stepped on. Literally had me go, ugh. And when I saw people walking, I saw zombies. I saw people with just a jacked up mindset. People that, hope is gone. Hope is gone for them. I'm not going to get into why I think it is, but I believe a good bit of it is because of how their mindset was or were when they were younger. Maybe not having anybody that was a mentor. Because just because you're born into poverty, or just because you're born without a silver spoon, just because you were born into something that was a bad beat, you don't necessarily have to stay there. The odds are going to be harder. The road's going to be tougher. But that doesn't mean that you're destined to stay where you're at. Okay? God happened to me said, why are you trashing my city like that? That was just an example because I was just there yesterday, actually. You said that's most cities, even the ones we live in. I haven't seen, there's only been 3 places that I've seen needles on the ground. I've been in Atlanta. I've never seen needles in the ground on there. And I've been to a lot of major cities. Philadelphia, Baltimore, New York City. I've been to Miami, been to Atlanta, Austin, San Antonio. I mean, I've been to a lot of major cities. Seattle, I saw some drug users, but I never saw any needles. Okay, I've literally been all over the world. That's something that I need to start reminding people too. I've seen the world. I know some things. Might not look like it, but I know some things. Anyway, when talking about your mindset, right? And the importance of it. Earlier, I talked about a growth mindset by a psychologist, Carol. I wish I knew her last name right now. But she had this book. It was called Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. And in it, it was like individuals that had a fixed mindset believe that their abilities are innate and unchanging. You can't do nothing more than what you already are born with, right? While those with a growth mindset believe that their abilities can be developed, molded through dedication and hard work. 5 years ago, I wasn't doing live streams. Now, with the type of mindset that I have, if you would have told me, hey man, King, you'll be doing live streams and you'll be able to kind of make a name for yourself doing it, I'd be like, well, yeah, I can see that. Because I've always had a growth mindset. When I joined the Air Force, I picked my job of being an in-flight refueler because it had the highest bonus. But you want to know something interesting? Before I joined the military at age 18, I had no clue because I hadn't been to an air show or I wasn't near a U.S. Air Force base like that to know that we could even refuel airplanes in the air. Been doing aerial refueling as a government since the 50s. A little bit before that, and just having the capability in general, right? But since the 50s, here I am in 2001, not even knowing that that was a thing that you could do. Now, if I had a fixed mindset, I wouldn't have done that. I'd be like, keep my ass on the ground where it's safe. Prior to that, the only travel in the air that I had done would have been when I was younger, because my dad was in the Army. He's a U.S. Army veteran, and he was stationed overseas. So I lived in Germany for a time, but you're talking, I was under the age of 3 when I was there. 2, 3 years old. So I don't remember much about Germany, and I haven't been back since. I'm going to Okinawa in Japan in 2025. I want to get a trip to Greece in 2026. Maybe I'll hit up Germany in 2027. Jason, if you're watching, we talking 3 years. What's up, man? Shout out to the homie Jason. He watches the live stream where he sometimes catches the replay. So I hope he hears me talk about him, as that's my guy that lives over in Germany right now. And I have a couple of other people, a guy who I play ball with who's also living in Germany right now with him and his family too. I don't know what the psychologist Carol said about if you can change your mindset from a growth or a fix to a growth. But man, you unlock a lot more possibilities in life when you have a growth mindset. For example, I'm 5'7.5". We're gonna round that up to 5'8". When I was in high school, I could grab the rim. I'm not gonna say that I could dunk because I could not dunk, but I was athletic enough to be able to, grab the rim. I always also tell this story too of my ninth grade year when I wanted to play running back. I really didn't know football. I didn't start playing until my 8th grade year. And there's this guy, Donald Smith, who I saw later in life when I was stationed overseas in the Air Force. but they were looking for players to do what's called scout team, right? So the scout team are your non-starters that helps the other side of the football team prepare for the game that following week. And I remember going out and wanting to be a scout team running back, right? Because I'm like, man, I like to be a running back. And Donald, who was on defense at the time, he was a upperclassman. He was like class of 98 or 99. He was 4 years in front of me. When he was a senior, I would have been a freshman. Him and I are friends now, but I will never forget this. He said, King, stay off the field. You're too small. Stay off the field. You're too small, right? And he's an upperclassman, right? A starter on the defense. What am I supposed to do to that, right? The coach told me to come out there, so I did, right? So I'm like, okay, if given the opportunity, I'm putting his ass on the ground as a running back. And guess what happened? I'll let Fook Dog confirm that story himself. That was his nickname back in the day. He probably ain't heard nobody say that in a minute. But Donald and the starting defense got scored on by little old me and the scout team offense against what was a really good defense back then too. I will never forget that, right? But had I let him dictate my actions and be like, you know what, he's an upperclassman, he's right, and I would have went to the bench and just been, well, maybe I should just not be a running back. No. I say that because there are things that, like, if I go out right now at 40 years old, I never learned how to be a quarterback or throw a football. So I'm not a good quarterback, right? That's not going to stop me from going out and learning how to play quarterback, though. Like, I'm not running nobody's football anymore, especially after January when your boy's getting a defibrillator implanted. I've shared that. That's a live stream for a different day. But why can't I play quarterback for a flag football team? Right? Well, I'm not doing a whole lot of running. Well, I just need to learn how to throw. I understand the sport of football. I've coached it. So why can't I learn how to throw? Can't be a quarterback. That's the way that I think, right? That's the way that I think. CQ said, go play your game. You know what? Don't be in a rush to catch these L's, man. Right? Because I'm going to be giving out L's all day. Just watch and see. Shout out to Richard Bronco. Says, CQ, do you have a diffuse for this situation? Hey, look, man, I'm just saying. Richard, Mr. Bronco. Hey, man, I appreciate you tuning in to the live stream. Shout out to you. All right. Lee said we do need to have a chat together. Hey, Lee, where you at? I'll be in OKC next week. Not for that long, though. I'm going for a buddy's retirement. I don't know where you're stationed at or where you live now. I need to figure this out. I'll DM you. Back to the topic at hand. I will do that. I will go off track in a heartbeat. All right. Back to the topic at hand. The impact of mindset on success. I talked about success earlier, right? And our growth mindset, which I harped on throughout this entire live stream, can be a powerful catalyst for success in various aspects of life. In the realm of education, students with the growth mindset are more likely to embrace challenges, persist in the face of setbacks, and ultimately achieve a higher level of academic performance. I would like for God Happen to Me to validate that. I included this, and I wanted to say this specifically because she is an educator. She has earned her master's in education. Okay, along with another master's in something. She's got basically more degrees than a thermometer. But she's doing the work in the classroom. I don't think they pay you enough too. How long are you going to be an educator? You're way more valuable to be earning what you're making. And I'm going to say that publicly. Maybe see if your growth mindset can get you into some more incomes and more earnings. All right. In the workplace, having a growth mindset fosters a culture of continuous learning so that you're not just stagnant with what you're doing. Being able to be adaptable as things change. I work in the government. Every 2 years, essentially, there's always some type of changeover in which somebody comes in, the money gets shifted, programs get funded or defunded, different leaders come in with different thought processes, right? So, in order to stay and work in the government as long as I have, which I've been in the government since 2010, you have to have a level of adaptability. There's a saying that in the Air Force, flexibility is the key to air power, right? Being flexible. You might have time on target that's required to be able to make the mission work over here, but if something pops off over here, and you also have to be there as well, how do you make this work? Flexibility is the key to air power. Adaptability is the key of success in the workplace. And having a growth mindset can help you do all of that, which can lead to greater productivity and career advancement. I said this to this lady, and I wish I knew where she was. She would be having her coffee at, but I was having this conversation with this lady who is retired, and she was talking about how lazy the young people are now. And I shared with her. I told her, I said, I have a daughter that's a senior. I tell my daughter, show up and do a good job when showing up. That's the bar. That's the bar, which is tragic when you think about that. If you show up and just do your job when you show up, you are automatically above everybody else because people are lazy and want handouts. And I don't know why this is the way that it is. Did we make things too easy for people? Maybe. I almost hate to say this, but maybe World War IV needs to happen. Or World War III. What world wars are we on? How many world wars have we had? Hold on. How many world? Look, I've never said that I cared anything about history or have an understanding of history. All right. So we've had two. Maybe World War III needs to happen. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. We got some comments here. God happened to be did agree with me and said that a growth mindset in the classroom is 100% correct. And about her degrees as well, and that her degrees keep her warm at night. Yeah. CQ said, geez, roll tide. Hey, man. Hey, they say that those that don't know history are doomed to repeat it. I might be repeating a couple of things then because me and history, it's not my best subject. It's just not. All right. Roll tide. Roll tide. Richard said WW3, World War III is already ongoing. What makes you say that? Michelle said that I'm both. I'm from Baltimore and the daughter of an immigrant. Yet, because of her mindset, she's achieved a lot in life. I want to stick on this for a second. Michelle, I'm going to talk about you for a bit. Daughter of an immigrant. If you go to her website, God Happened to Me, you can learn about her past and what she's had to overcome. From Baltimore. Young person of color. She's got the deck stacked against her. Starting out. Young female, right? Young woman. I heard somebody, and I forgot what it was, where people were talking about the capabilities of different genders. And I said, look, if I'm dangling off a roof, I'm like 270 plus pounds. I'm gonna need somebody strong enough to lift my heavy ass up, right? Now, conversely to that, I have been, there was a commercial in the early, 1940s or 1950s. You didn't have a lot of women aviators, right? It was unheard of. There were some people that, was in the game, but commercially, if you looked inside the cockpit in the 1940s, you didn't see women aviators. I've deployed with and have flown with some of the most finest aviators that have ever commanded a cockpit, that have ever flown an aircraft, right? That have earned their wings and had some of the best, what is it, pilotship, airmanship that has ever been exhibited. And it wasn't their gender that made them a certain way, right? Yet, I would be, I have to acknowledge that in in the world that we live in, a lot of people don't see certain genders as having the same capability of doing things as other genders can. Biology dictates some stuff. Let's acknowledge that at least. Let's acknowledge that. Like I said, because there's even going to be some firefighters that's going to struggle to help me if I'm hanging off of a burning building, right? And like, let me just say that. So biology dictates some stuff, but for a majority of life and other things, your gender doesn't stop you or limit you from being the best pilot that there is. It's your actual capabilities of being able to take off and land. And I've flown with and been with a crew with some amazing pilots whose gender is not mine. And it's tragic that I have to watch what I say in today's day and age, because I don't want anything to be misunderstood when I'm saying what I'm saying. Okay. Let's see. Richard said, do what you love to do and it will never be work again. Bingo. I like that. And I've been live now for an hour and 12 minutes. It does not seem like it's been that long to me. I'm actually enjoying this. I'm having fun. It'd be nice if I also made some money, but I'm enjoying doing this. And you are exactly right. And you said that COVID is World War III. We're kind of on the tail end of COVID. Do you think that something is going to come back in that vein over the next couple of years? Because it seemed like things work in cycles, right? You got 4 years of good stuff, followed by 2 to 3 years of bad stuff, to then have 3 years of good stuff and 8 years of bad stuff. So I'm curious. I'm curious what you think that the next thing is going to be. Let's see. He said, grow some stones and hurt some feelings. It's not about hurt feelings that I'm worried about. People, right? I shared. I have a job that I love doing, that it pays the bills. If you were to say, King, if you had $1 million, would you be doing the current job that you're doing now? No. I would I think I'd like to be doing something around coaching, mentoring, being around the youth. But right now, the job that I have pays a lot more. And it's unfortunate, Richard, and I'm just going to admit this, that while there is a such thing as freedom of speech, everything has consequences, right? If you say the wrong thing, you can lose an endorsement, you can lose your job, be called in to HR, all this other stuff. So for me, it's not about hurting feelings. It's about looking at trying to have the intelligence to still convey my message that will allow the most people to be able to hear it and process it. All right. Looking at the mindset here, and I'm going to bring this back up. Ooh. He says, so you're controlled by your job and you are controlled by your lifestyle. So if you're controlled by I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that one bit. I actually do agree with that. I was just talking about that earlier where I was like, for the most part, I'm free for the most part. But I heard this line in this movie and man, it made so much sense. Most people are still a slave to something. Either you're a slave to your mind. If you're in the US, right, for the most part, while we're free here, right? This is a free country. If you are a US citizen and other protected categories, you have the rights and liberties to be able to move about freely for the most part. Let me just say it that way. But unless you have the currency to do things, you are a slave to whatever is paying you. In other countries, right? In some third world countries, they don't necessarily have the freedoms and liberties that we have, yet they're able to survive on a lot less than what Americans can survive on, but they're still a slave to poverty in a sense. It's a different type of slavery, but they're still a slave to something. Really, when you think about it, even in the US, right? Like, I am not a slave owned by a person, but I can't just quit my job tomorrow. I got loans and stuff to still pay off, right? I have debt that is owed. So you're not wrong. I'm a slave to my current employment situation. I don't make no bones about that. I understand that though. And I'm working towards getting to a more financially free lifestyle that will enable me to make the decisions that if I wanted to fly to Jamaica tomorrow, I could. And then after Jamaica, if I wanted to say what's up to London, I could then hit from Jamaica and go to London. That's where I want to be. But you're not wrong. I'm just not there yet. Let's see. That's why I'm working on being a self-employed landscaper. That's dope. That's dope. And Michelle, she confirmed what I brought up to and said, not most. We are all enslaved in some capacity. Absolutely. She then goes on and lists cell phone, food, your beliefs. That was one that I was thinking about too. Do I want to get into? No, nope. I'm not going to get into it. I was going to say religion is something that you can be a slave to, but I'm not smart enough to talk about that, so I'm not. Let's see. Doesn't slave imply not being paid? No, not really. Um, Let me see. Because you can be, yeah, you can be a slave and, you know, still get paid essentially, right? Like, nope, don't say that. Do not get canceled. Not today. Let's see. Some enslaved people were compensated financially. Yes, with like housing and food. There's there are people that are here from other countries that because they're not where they need to be are slaves to certain people. They're not owned by these people, right? But they have an understanding. Come work for me, come and do this. In 6 years I'll help you get that, right? It's happening. People don't talk about it. It's not as known, but certain families are set up that way. And that's all that I'm going to say. That is all that I'm going to say. I'm going to talk about recognizing and shifting your mindset and then in the live stream. Good stuff. I'm actually thankful for the comments and things that people are adding to this conversation. All right. So if you have a growth mindset, you typically know it, right? If you're somebody that can challenge the beliefs of something, right? Ask yourself, where did your beliefs come from? Are they truly valid, right? And if you're somebody that can really self-reflect, how do those beliefs hold you back? Okay. And embrace challenges. Embrace challenges. I'm the type of person that if I don't know something, but I want to know it, again, you've got a smartphone. You can go figure shit out, right? Google it. Go buy a course on it. Invest in yourself. Just because I don't know how to speak Spanish fluently doesn't mean that, my como te llamas can get from como te llama to como se dice bathroom. Right? Spanish isn't something that I know just offhand like that. I can understand some things, but como se dice millionaire in English or in Spanish, right? I'm also somebody that is prone to feedback as long as it's constructive feedback, right? Give me the sandwich method. Tell me something good, sprinkle the bad in between, and close that shit with some more good. And being resilient. When I did land survival in Washington, right? Part of my job was SEER training. That survive, evade, resist, and escape. You get treated like a POW. I'll tell you right now, it's not fun. Training isn't fun. Being a real life POW, I can't even comprehend. And I've even done some training, yet I still can't comprehend what it is like to be a real life POW and the psychological and physical effects that if you are somebody that survives, right, that's a lifelong thing that you have to deal with. But going through the SEER school for somebody that I'd never really done anything like that before showed me that I'm a lot more resilient than I thought. So the question that I'm going to ask for this topic for the people that are watching or those that are going to catch the live replay is, what do you identify more with? A fixed mindset or a growth mindset? And I put that in the chat. That is also displayed on the screen here for those people that have gotten this far in the replay. And let me know why you identify with that mindset as well. It should be obvious that it's my opinion that a growth mindset is better, but that don't mean that a fixed mindset is wrong. It's just not what I want to do and where I want to be. Okay? So that's my live stream for today. I want to give a shout out to everybody that's tuned in. I'm also going to give some time for people to add some comments here with what I just asked before I close out. But what we talked about today was support versus learning from failure. What's that anchor point? Like, where's that point where you're not doing too much, but you're allowing somebody to flourish and grow on their own? I also talked about Ripple Labs and their Ripple Labs USD and why I'm heavy into XRP and why I think you should do your own research and check out XRP and see if it's something that you want to get into. And we finished with mindset, talking about the growth mindset versus a fixed mindset and why your mindset's holding you back. I almost forgot. And I see some comments came in. Y'all, thank you for commenting. I almost forgot. There was a video that a photo that I wanted to show. And I thought that this was really dope. And I'm going to display this photo here. And This is actually giving me some things to ponder on. Let me take this off the screen. 3 things that keep you poor 101: being overly sensitive, being overly stubborn, and being overly proud. And before I read what was on the bottom here, I thought, huh. Now, I didn't write this, somebody else wrote this, but I thought that these were 3 good things. So it said, being overly sensitive, one can miss out on the tips because their ego cannot stand constructive criticism. Boom. I talked earlier about feedback and why feedback's important. I value feedback. I don't know where I got that from, but as far as back as I can think, I've always been one that sometimes I might have my arms crossed like this. And sometimes I might not like what you're saying, but I do ponder on what's being said to me, especially if it's an area that you're smarter than me in. I want to know what you know. Okay. But being overly sensitive can keep you poor. And I thought that that was definitely one thing. Being overly stubborn, I stand in that category. Somebody that's overly stubborn is one that hears tips and guidance, yet you don't act on them. Why? Why not? I agree with that. And then the third one is being overly proud. I think this one is one that I struggle with. This person wrote, the person that's overly proud gets offended easily and can miss out on the teachings. I don't know if I fully agree with that one. I think pride is what's missing in today's society. There's not a lot of pride in what you do, pride in your name, pride in your craft, pride in anything. Too many people are okay with being average, and the definition of average makes it so that that exists that way. David Goggins talks about being uncommon amongst uncommon people. That's how you stand out. That's how you create a name for yourself, like David Goggins. And I'm still trying to figure out what that is for me. I've heard about that concept for several months now, but I haven't quite identified the area that I can be uncommon amongst uncommon people. And I want to get there. I'm going to get there. I just have to figure out what that is and how. So a couple of people did comment, and let me acknowledge what y'all wrote here. Richard said he's got a growth mindset. Michelle said that she has a growth mindset, and followed that up with, as an educator and forever learner, I recognize that I must continue to evolve in order to find success in life. I 100% agree with that. Oh, here we go. Cody said, how heavy is heavy? I didn't put the amount I wanted to before it jumped, was just slow on it, been looking at XRP for years. Okay. I'm going to show you, and this, you've probably already seen this, Cody. I'm going to show you. Can I show this without showing my, here we go. This is about a 1/10 of the XRP that I have, and I got to figure out how to display this without showing my bank account. Okay. Give me a second here. I got to figure this out. All right. Yeah. I can show this way. This is roughly a 1/10 of what I have in my XRP. It may be more like a 1/12 of what I have. So take this and times it by, let me look at my ledger. I got to look at my ledger here. I don't want to show my ledger publicly. Take that and times it by 17. And that's how much XRP I have. I got lucky, man. I got lucky. I started getting into it and buying a whole lot of it. But I have about 17,500 XRP. Right? I consider that a bag. You know, your average person doesn't have that much. I do. So, and no, actually, I got more than that. I got around 25,000 XRP. I'll say that publicly because it's not all in the same wallet. So this right here is my actual Coinbase account that shows just how much is in my Coinbase. And I started buying in here last year sometime, and it was just from a conversation of showing people like what XRP is, because I don't like showing my ledger to people. So I said, you know what? Let me just start buying it on Coinbase. Once you could buy it back again on Coinbase, and I just was like, hey, this is me, $20, $30, $10, any small amount. I would just start accumulating, and I was doing that for a while, and I just got lucky. So, yeah, I don't mind saying that publicly. If you're smart enough, you can do the math, and that can tell you exactly how much unrealized that I have in it. But I've been accumulating for quite some time. Let's see. Richard said, "I always push. I'm always pushing the boundaries of myself. I also inspire others to think for themselves because only they can do what's right for them." CQ said, "You never listen when I tell you I'm right about rules because you're not always right." And I'm also the type that, while I hear you, I still gotta verify it myself. I've been scammed too much to where I trust people, especially people that are trustworthy. But I also think there's a scammer in everybody. So I trust, but I verify, because you will find a way to make the rules work for you. Tell me I'm wrong. Michelle said, pride and overly proud are two different things. Huh. Interesting. All right. And then Cody, we're talking about SRP, said, good for you. I put 1.5K before it pumped and got 1,400. That's all I got in Coinbase. Kana is wanting $20 a month for her coin ventures. On my next live stream, crypto.com just introduced something called buckets, which are kind of like wow, man, the investing term live is escaping me. ETFs, right? So buckets are essentially 10 or so cryptos around a certain concept or idea. Like one is it's called like it's the top 10 crypto by market cap, excluding stable coins. Okay. And one will be like your US blue chip cryptocurrencies. And I'm like, ooh, if you don't know much about cryptocurrencies, but you want to get some exposure into certain cryptocurrencies, I like what crypto.com is doing with that, because it'll even automatically rebalance your portfolio set on the parameters that you have. And I said, man, I wish this was something that was offered years ago instead of being laser focused, right? Because I kind of put all my eggs in a few baskets. Shiba was one of them. XRP was the other one, and I'm thankful for that. And there's a few other ones, but those are the two big ones that I talk about publicly: Shiba and XRP. And I've been literally laser focused in just buying as much as I could with every single extra cent that I could muster from my money. But buckets are a good way of building a crypto portfolio by getting a little bit of exposure across various things. And that if one were to collapse or shoot off for whatever reason, your whole portfolio's not done, right? Like if XRP gets into some type of regulatory issue again, which I doubt, I think they've crossed most of their hurdles for what they were um in the mud for through the SEC a couple of years back. But if XRP were to get shot down, then what am I going to do with all of the XRP that I've accumulated if I hadn't already gotten it and exchanged it for my current fiat currency, right? So I mean that's kind of, I'm not going to call it a gamble, because even if you were to put certain stuff in the stock market, right? Like if you stay around the S&P 500, you've been good. If you were to be in Coca-Cola or Walmart or, some of these other, you're good. If you were invested in Spirit Airlines or you stayed around the aviation industry, your portfolio's looking a little trash right now, right? So That's investing talk, and that's just the way that I think. Again, not a financial advisor, right? But I've made a lot of mistakes in the past to now have a plan that I'm executing now that works for me. So I'm just gonna say that. Shout out to CC Smith's in the building. Said, "Loan me some, Mama. That is my mother. Shout out to Madre. Why don't you get you a Coinbase account? Start getting into cryptocurrency. I'll show you which ones to get." I appreciate you tuning in. A salute to you. Hit that like button too, Mom. I don't know if you be doing that. Hit that like button. All right. That's my live stream. Wow, I went an hour and 35 minutes because I had nothing else planned for this evening besides doing some reading and catching some Z's. So to those of y'all that tuned in live, thank you. Y'all make the live stream fun. To those of y'all that are going to catch the replay, I give a salute to y'all as well. I will be back live. Next week I'll be traveling. But you know what? The grind don't stop. I'll figure it out. I need to contact the people that I'm going to be who were gracious enough to host me next week to see if I could use their internet so I can stay on my regularly scheduled program. All right? I'm going to give this some time right now because I know the live stream's a little bit behind. But to say thanks for tuning in. I will be back next week. Until next time, peace.